the first things first, like we started our journey in 2011. So again, very similar to some of the speakers who have been here. Like I also moved back from the US. My moving back was easier. I had no family in the US, and like it was very easy to move back from that perspective. But the tough part was there's so many things like as a 25-year-old you can do in the US. So you can like think about like, hey, the ecosystem is more mature over there. It's very early stage in India. So it's actually much harder to move back to start a company. Because in India, like the first thing which like some neighborhood auntie will ask you is like, "Beta kitna kamate ho?" So, I mean, those kind of things like sort of like India is not very startup friendly for its entrepreneurs in the beginning. But the amazing part of India is like you can actually keep your burn rate low. So I actually moved in with my family, my parents in Delhi, and so your burn rate goes down. What does that mean? That you have a longer runway for you to work on your startup. So fortunately, our startup did not have a lot of like capital intensive assets which were required, like unlike for Lenko's business. So we had like a easier time. All we had to do was build a product which people actually wanted. So again, starting Cleartax, because like India is not known as a country where we pay taxes. So only 3% of the Indian population today pays taxes, which is like about 4.5 crore people. But like I think with Modi's demonetization, the number will go up. So we're going to be one of the beneficiaries of this like entire change. And back in 2011, funding was mostly for e-commerce businesses. Fintech was not even a word which like the ecosystem was talking about. So like we had to really think about, hey, who's going to, how do we run this business? So I think like very early we decided like that we are not going to look for funding. So, and that became that was very useful as a construct because then we just focused on what we can do without money. And it's amazing, like when you set your mind to it, like how far can you go without money? You go very far. So basically then we started thinking about how do we acquire users and what value we create for them. And every day we thought about, hey, if we create enough value, can these users talk about us to their friends, their colleagues, their coworkers? So I think like those factors really work for us. So I think for 3 years we bootstrapped the business, but we also kept growing. So we reached like with 4 people, like me and my co-founders, to like lakhs of users and India's largest tax website, even before we went to Y Combinator. So I think like most people like sort of have to think about like funding and marketing dollars is not what you need all the time. So these are things which are very important.